What? Okay.
Happy Halloween, Foxy Dudes and Dudettes. Welcome back to The Well-Rounded Dude. I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment we filmed before. It was a lot of fun, and as you can see, Michael Myers is my favorite scary movie character of all time. So that's why today we are going to rank the Halloween movies. Okay, so the first movie that we're going to talk about is the bottom of the list. 3. What's wrong? Are you angry because I did a Halloween video? And I mentioned Michael Myers is my favorite horror villain? Would you like me to do a video about you and rank your movies? That's what you want? Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Anything else? I don't get it. My skincare routine? You want to know about my skincare routine? Okay, I can help you out with that. T. Shanley does wonders. It'll do. Moisturize twice a day. And I don't know about that whole bone thing you got poking out of your face, but it'll help. It'll help with the rest of you. Okay? It'll be good. Hey guys, welcome back to The Well-Rounded Dude. My name is Chris. If you're new here, welcome. We cover a whole bunch of topics on this channel, including grooming, men's skincare. Today we are going over the Friday the 13th movies, and I am totally doing this completely of my free will. At the bottom of the list is the Friday the 13th remake. Now I've got this on the bottom of the list because, well, it's not a bad horror movie. It gets a bum rap. It's not totally bad, but it doesn't have that feel of the rest of the Friday the 13th movies, in my opinion. It's still a movie worth checking out. I mean, Sam Winchester is the lead in this, but it still doesn't feel like a Friday movie, and if I had my choice, I'm going to reach for some of the other options on this list. Okay, dudes, next on the list is Friday the 13th, Part 2. Not one of my favorites in the series. We feature a Jason that's got a bag over his head. Later on in the series is when he gets his iconic hockey mask. Not a bad movie, but still. I mean, we do get to see what happened to his crazy mother. So next on this list, Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Again, like the other entries on this list that I've mentioned so far, not a bad movie, but not the greatest either. Spoiler alert, Jason's not in this one. At least he's not the maniac in the hockey mask. And therefore, it gets ranked down on my list. Alright, dudes. Next up on the list, maybe a little bit of a surprise, but the original Friday the 13th. Now, the reason for this is, spoiler alert, there's no Jason. If you guys remember, it's his old crazy mother that's... I'm sorry, Jason, I'm sorry. His sweet, kind mother that was doing all the murders in the first movie. Next up on this list, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Or not final Friday if you're catching my drift. This was one of the only entries, and I think actually the only one that was released in the 90s, 93 to be exact. It is very weird because it has Jason hopping from body to body in search of a long-lost sister. That we learn a little bit more about Jason's crazy family tree. Sorry. But there's a lot of cameos from other horror genres in this, and it makes it one of my favorites. You get to see the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead franchise. It makes an appearance in here. Plus, we get to see Freddy Krueger's hand come up in the end of the movie. Spoiler alert, but it's been over 20 years. Get over it. My next pick on this list, Friday the 13th, Part 3. This is where Jason gets his iconic hockey mask. You get to see how that comes about. Plus, originally this movie was called Friday the 13th, Part 3D. There's a lot of ominous, very 80s things that they do with like moving sticks towards the camera and slashing towards the camera, so it was supposed to be in 3D, but, you know, later on with VHS and 3D kind of fell out of popularity, they removed some of that stuff, so it just looks kind of silly now, but if you know that while you watch it, it makes it interesting. So the next movie's a bit out there. It's a really, really crazy idea. Kind of silly when you think about it, but it made for an enjoyable movie. Jason X, otherwise known as Jason Goes to Space. The story behind this, if you guys haven't seen it, is Jason is captured somehow. We don't know how. But he's held captive and experimented on by a government. Again, we don't know which one. And he gets frozen, and they thaw him out hundreds of years into the future. And he goes on a reign of terror because there's never a shortage of teenagers or premarital sex for Jason to try to ruin. Okay, so for the remainder of this list, I have a hard time like organizing and putting into what's my favorite from what's not. So it's pretty much fluid to change. But we'll start off today with Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Interesting take. He kind of gets electrocuted back to life from the events of the last movie and decides to crash a senior trip that's going to New York City, and he is in New York City for about 10 minutes of the movie. As usual, there's a girl there that has visions and has been influenced by Jason. She's seen him at some point, and he goes after her. A very fun movie, some very imaginative kills. Kelly Hu is in this. I don't know if you guys know who Kelly Hu is, but she was Lady Deathstrike, I think, in the X-Men movies. A very good movie. I would recommend this one. A lot of fun. Next on this list, Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. I like this one a lot because you get to see how mangled Jason has become over the years. He started off as a human. They don't really explain this, but he kind of started off as a human, and then he died at some point, was revived, and fans speculate he's a zombie or I just say undead, but you can get to see like how rotted and mangled he is in this movie. It's one of the few movies where you actually get to see his face, like his mangled face, for a good portion of the movie. And he also goes up against a teenager who is psychic in this. So this is one of my favorites. Again, great imaginative kills, very fun. Check it out. Next up, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. I like this movie a lot. This is Jason's return after being absent from Part 5. He's revived in this. You get to see how mangled he is. He's been dead, so he's rotted. You get to see maggots and worms and all such on his face. And he goes after his arch nemesis, Tommy Jarvis, the man who killed him. And he is much stronger than he used to be. And he wields his machete with deadly accuracy. Also, too, you have a very annoying sheriff in this that Jason kind of gives the business to at the end. It was well deserved. But a great movie, one of my favorites. This one is probably the one that feels the most like Friday the 13th, that every iconic part that people think of when they hear of Jason Voorhees, of the hockey mask and him being undead, and it came from this movie. All right, and Friday the 13th, the final chapter. That was not the final chapter. Fun fact, this is the 4th movie in the franchise. This was supposed to be the end of the franchise. Paramount, who made these movies, were always embarrassed by them, but they kept making money, so they kept making a new sequel every year. And they decided, well, we're going to end it. This is going to be the last one. So this is where Tommy Jarvis is introduced, played by Corey Feldman. And in the end of this is where he takes a machete to Jason's head, and it was supposed to kill Jason. Except he came back in the last movie I mentioned. But for me, this was always a lot of fun. This is pretty much like the last time Jason was a human, per se. And just between the awkward dancing and the teenage angst and shenanigans that go on at this, it really makes it, this really defines like Friday the 13th for me. This is the first one I can remember watching where I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. It's not just slash them, hack them up like the other ones. And finally on this list, guys, maybe a bit controversial, but it's my list anyway, Freddy vs. Jason. This is a great movie with two of the greatest cinematic characters in horror history. You have the great Freddy Krueger. Jason's better. Jason's much better than Freddy. But it's a great movie seeing the two of them go up head to head. You know, first they're kind of working together, then they're against each other. I mean, Freddy did have the upper hand at some point. And Jason had it the entire time. Freddy didn't stand a chance. A great opportunity, guys, for you to see this movie. It's fantastic. It took 10 years for them to make this. At the end of Final Friday, I mentioned that Freddy Krueger's hand came up, and it leads into this movie with him resurrecting Jason. So it's a good movie. You guys got to check it out. You know, Freddy does a good job. Jason does a better job, though. You definitely want to see this movie to see Jason win. Okay? Okay. All right, so that's going to do it for this week's video, dudes. Please, be sure to check us out on social media. Also, too, check us out at thewellroundeddude.com. Be sure to check out our merch page and use the code DUDE10 to be able to get 10% off your entire purchase. All right? So, Jason, is that good? Did we do good? Okay, good. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Okay, we'll say something nice about your mom. I promise, we will. Okay.